Good morning, everybody. We are we're going to be doing some coding today. I just thought I would work on my DJ app a little bit more, and I thought why not do it on the live stream with everybody here. So I hope everybody's having a great morning or great afternoon wherever you may be in the world. And I'm going to be working through this app. I've been doing quite a bit of work on it past couple days, and there's some more that I want to do today. And I hope that we all get to learn something. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So just going to open this up in the producer, get it open in Xcode, and here we are. So at the moment, I have actually completely redone the architecture of the app where essentially it used to be two separate apps. So there's one app where you actually record lessons, and then there's another part of the app where you can uh, play the lessons that you've recorded. And those used to be two separate projects, but now I've actually combined those, and I've recently combined them, and they're still. I think they still have a lot of things that I still need to work out, but it's starting to come together. And essentially, the reason that I've done that is because there was a lot of shared behavior between those two different apps. So every time I changed one, I would have to go to the other app and I'd have to change the other. And there would be these times where I would work a bunch on one side on one of the apps and then change a bunch of things, and then I would it would take me forever to update it on the other side. And I thought this is going to be a real pain, but I'm going to actually just combine this into one application. And it's been a bit of a train wreck, uh, and there have been a lot of twists and turns along the way, but it's actually starting to come together, and it actually builds now, which is actually pretty cool. It's always good when you have an application that actually builds. So yeah. So let me walk you through a little bit of what I have. So so what we have here is we have this main component, which is just our main, just where everything kind of routes into. So this is kind of like the brain or the heart of the application. And essentially, I've made this app where you have all of these different things. So you have data that's coming from, one class. You have different classes that need to load up. You have different screens that need to load up at various times, and all of that is essentially centrally controlled by this main app. So this is where everything comes together more or less. And in here, I have some shared. I have some kind of central behavior for any sort of large application. So I have some. I have a device manager that controls the inputs and outputs of my sound card. Also controls like when I have a MIDI device. So I have this DJ mixer that has MIDI on it, and so I'm collecting data about that, what kind of mixer it is, and so on. And I of course have settings that I would load. All of that has to be centrally controlled, and that's where I'm doing that here. I also have a call to an API that's living on a server. That's also, all of that stuff is controlled here. And then we have this class that I've created called ScreenCreator. And what that is that, as I said before, this is two applications that have a lot of similar behavior. And so what I've done is I've tried to abstract that, a lot of that out into, well, what's the shared behavior between these two applications? And this is more or less a game, so kind of like a DJ game. So a you're going to have a login screen. So both of them have a login screen. And actually, let me show you where this is actually. So here we go. So we have this function that's called create screen. And we can see that we have a switch here. And big shout out to Yalamir who actually helped me come up with this pattern for this. So essentially what it does is it dynamically creates a screen as needed, so you're not really wasting resources by having all of the screens created at once at compile time. So these are just kind of created on the fly as we enter different states of the application. So the first screen is a login screen, where a user needs to enter some credentials to actually log in. Then you come to a setup screen, which is like a DJ setup screen, where you can actually configure the mixer, configure different settings, your sound card settings, and that sort of thing. Then you have a loading state where you are loading either audio files or you're loading a lesson. Then you have a play state. Then you have a state where everything is finished and the game ends. And then you can play again, or you can go back and reload the settings. So yeah, so somebody has asked if we could actually see the app. I guess that would actually help. So yeah, let me. I think it would actually be helpful to actually see what we're actually what I'm actually talking about, right? So, so here we go. Build succeeded. That's a positive sign. So it's just loading at the moment. Oh, I've got this weird thing that happens sometimes where I get some sort of, I think it's some sort of data race when my application actually loads up. It only happens like once every 100 times, and it's this bug that I've been searching for it for ages, and I can't seem to find the source of it. Um, so yeah, so this is it right here. And like I said, you have this login screen. I've actually made it at the moment where I could just hit login and it actually logs in. So here we go. So then we come to this screen, and this is stuff that I've actually worked through on the live stream. So we have this thing that says connect mixer to begin. And now I'm just going to turn my mixer on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we actually, there we go, boom. Now we have our setup, and we can actually select between left and right turntables. We have different uh, types of DVS that we could use. So we could use Serato DVS or Tractor. That's the only two that I have at the moment because I thought those were the most common ones. We also have some turntable settings for how the time code actually reads. And then we have this advanced settings panel. This is in a bit of a state right now. This isn't something I think once I get a little bit further in this app, I'm actually going to remove this or not make this accessible to the user, because the user shouldn't really be interacting with this screen, because it's the mixer that really determines what the sample rate is and what the input and output device is. Once you connect a mixer up, it should automatically go and make that the primary device. That shouldn't, it's kind of like Serato. If you've ever used Serato, when you connect the mixer, it automatically connects the device. It automatically decides what your audio input and output is, and so the user doesn't have to mess with that. So just trying to make this really user friendly, and um, so on. And as you can see, we have these buttons up here: play, stop, loop, mute, and settings button. Really, technically, I think the settings button should probably be disabled at this point, because we are actually in the settings. We are in the settings screen at the moment, and I actually have this. This isn't really doing anything at the moment. Oh, you can actually do a log out. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I don't think I've implemented that, but yeah, this will be a log out, so you can just log out when the time comes. And then once you're ready, then you just hit this arrow down here at the bottom, Then you come to this screen. So this is like the game screen, and you can actually select lessons. So these are just some like samples, I guess, of different lessons. It's not actually Jazzy Jeff or DJ Premier who actually recorded these lessons. So these are just test ones at the moment, test cover art, so to speak. Then you hit one of these, and fingers crossed. There you go. Now we got our play screen, and you won't be able to hear this because the sound's actually going to come through the mixer. But essentially, now you're starting. This is a bit. I'd like to do a little bit of work on this. Uh, like having intro down here very small isn't really effective. I could probably have that in the middle of the screen. And yeah, so this is the play state, where essentially you're listening to scratches, you're able to um, respond, and then you get a score at the end, and then you can play again or load another lesson. If I hit load another lesson, fingers crossed, comes back to the lesson stage. So that's the application. Yeah, and so that's that. Yeah. So you have two app modes. Going back to the code again, you have this app mode called Game. There's also an app mode called Creator, where I can actually create these lessons. And this is where things start getting a little bit hand wavy in terms of I'm not sure how well this works. This is what I've been working on at the moment. So some of this probably does not work. So here we go. Once again, now you're in the login screen. We can log in, and I've also set it up where when you've actually logged in, it saves a token to your local machine, and you don't have to log in multiple times. So yeah. So now once again, we got that shared behavior between these two applications. So you have login screen and you have like the hardware setup. So that's common between these two sides of the application. So that's the reason that I've taken these two apps and I've actually combined them. And then once again, we go here and we see that, okay, we've ended up at a place where this hasn't loaded properly. So this is actually a good starting point for us to actually start our work to see if we could actually get this working. So as I said before, this has been kind of a train wreck past couple days, just getting these two apps and trying to kind of shoehorn those back into one app. So that's a good starting point for us. So just to walk you through a little bit more of, I think this is helpful for anybody that's trying to make any type of game or any type of application that has some sort of switching state between in your app. So like, for example, if you're making a game, you have like a menu stage, a play stage, a game over phase, and so on. And so I have a couple classes here over here on the left that have been actually really helpful for kind of broadcasting the state out to different classes that need to be aware of what the state is. So sometimes, for example, you may say, okay, I need the screen to display the play screen now, and then along with that play screen, you're going to have some data that's associated with it or some data that you need. So what happens is you need to have some type of central point that is able to kind of just push that data out to your different classes and let it know, hey, the state of this has changed. I need to set up this information. And all of that is kind of happening here. So we have this app mode. So once again, for people who've been watching the whole live stream, we have a creator app and we have a game app. So this lets us know what which app that we're actually running. Okay. At the moment, I don't have place within the app at the moment where you can actually select those. That's something else I need to do that could probably happen at the very beginning of the app. But that's something that we could maybe work on today as well. So so now so now uh, so we have this app mode, and then we can see how that routes into the main component. So I have these unique pointers, and I make them unique pointers because I don't want to make because the alternative is to make uh, both of these objects at compile time, right? So I don't want I want to have it where the user can actually allocate this during runtime, during the runtime of the application while the application is actually happening. So for that reason, I've made these unique pointers, and we have the Creator app and we have the Scratch Champion app, which are actually just classes that are in here. So I have this Creator app that's here, and then this is where it starts getting a little bit more complicated. You have a bunch of different state information there, but um, yeah, so I've made these unique pointers, and then depending on what kind of app this is, so we see here if app mode is game, then we're going to create a Scratch Champion app. But if the app mode is a Creator app, then we create a Creator app. Okay, and one thing that I was thinking about was this. As you can see, they have the same argument. So then I started thinking, okay, well, would there be a benefit to creating a parent class that uh, because some of these, both of these apps have quite a bit of shared behavior. I don't really know if that would just be. I was trying to think of the benefit of doing that, and I don't know if there's a real benefit in that because then all of a sudden you may need to do a bunch of dynamic casting to actually figure out, okay, is this a Scratch Champion app or is this a Scratch Creator app? Feels like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody could advise a little bit more on that. But for now, I've just kind of kept these as two separate classes, and I've decided uh, not to create a parent class that has this shared behavior and then inheriting from this parent class. Though from a coding from an architecture standpoint, I could see a case for actually doing that. So yeah, we have these Scratch Champions, and then in here we have this game state. So like I said, both of these apps have this shared game state, this the same kind of trajectory in terms of how the application runs from start to finish. So you have login, you have setup, load, play, and then finished. And both of those apps actually do that. So I feel like this plays out quite nicely. And this is then so what I have is like this enum class with the game state. Then we have this observer class. So once again, this is a good thing that I picked up from Eyal, and he showed me this pattern. This is really cool. So this is really nice because, like I said, you're going to have a bunch of classes when you're creating this type of application. You're going to have a bunch of classes that need to know what's my state at this time. Has my state changed, and that sort of information. So this game state observer is like a central point where you can actually broadcast this out to the different classes that need to be aware of what the state is. So you can make sure that before you're actually trying to make a function call into your play screen, that your play state is actually loaded, for example. So one good example of where this type of class is useful is ScreenCreator. So I have the ScreenCreator, And as I was saying before, this is what's responsible for creating the different screens. So you have the shared behavior that's like the state, loading, setup, play, load, finished. And then what happens is that when the play state changes, then what happens is that it calls into this create screen, and it basically says, "Hey, create me a new screen." And then there are situations where depending on what's happening, you may need to create different screens. For example, the game and the creator screens are actually different. So, so if your app mode is a game, then you want to create one type of screen. But if it's the creator, then you want to load the other screen and the other associated data. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to building this, and I'm um, going to see if I can try to actually get this screen to come up, see what's going on. So I think that this is helpful for people who are. I've done quite a few tutorials on how to build small plugins. But this is something that's real. This is like something that I've been working on for a couple years now, and I think that it may be helpful for people to actually see how these things are done, how I actually go through uh, uh, when things aren't going right, which is quite a bit. That happens quite often for me, and my thought process on how to get around it. So so here we are, and I hit login. Then we have our hardware set up, so that's fine. And so now we've come to this. Now we've come to this screen, right? So what I've done is I've actually inserted this for people who are for people who are not may not be familiar with JAssert false. And what's happening is that I've hit this button, right? So I hit that load button, and what happened is that this basic this this right here is basically saying, hey, if we are in our if we're in our loading state, and I'm wondering, so one thing that I'm thinking, like, this is a lot, right? And one of the people from the Juice team actually told me that that to try to avoid dynamic casting, I think it's difficult to avoid sometimes. I had a lot of discussion about this with some people, but I'm actually thinking that I can actually shorten this down. So if I go to my CPP and Scratch Creator, we actually have this app state. So where is it? So like I said, I have this class that's like a game state observer called state. And so essentially what I'm saying here is if we're in our loading screen, but the same thing that I mean, what I could say here is if the app state is loading. So if I just say, so I could just take this. Um, the only thing is that the metadata has to pull pull this data from the UI. That's the only thing. So I'm not going to be able to do that. I was going to say if app state is loading. Um, yeah, I'm not going to be able to avoid it in that case. It needs to know this because it has data that the user has entered that I'm going to have to pull in. Anyways, going back to my original point, um, what I've done is I've intentionally set it up where if I hit the load button and it and it basically doesn't happen properly, then it'll run me into this JAssert false. JAssert false was something that I put in there to basically say, hey, if this doesn't execute properly, then something has gone wrong, right? So what I could do is I could go over here to the left, and I could go to my what's called my stack, and essentially what I could do is I can just go back to where that got called from, and I see that this got called in Scratch Creator button clicked, right? And then it goes into like juice code here, this little juice code here. But now we need to see what. So it looks like it did indeed. I was indeed in this screen, and then it looks like the button that it is looking that it's getting the click from is supposed to be the load button, but it's not. So the question is, what button is it? Once again, I've combined these apps recently, so it's possible that maybe there are two different buttons that I've created, and that it's getting the click from a different button. So let's take a look here. So we have just trying to think of what other button this would be. So let's go into the loading screen class. So we got game. So I'm in creator, and then this is in the UI. So we got loading screen. And as you can see, this is a big old class here. Oh, wait. So let's go back a second here. So this is, but I was in setup screen, right? So the screen that I was actually in was setup screen, not load screen when I hit that button. So something's not quite right here. But I'm noticing some other stuff as well. So for example, so this setup screen, which is the, let me see. So setup screen is this screen right here that I'm on right now. So it's strange because I've hit the button and it's giving me the JAssert false here in loading screen, which is kind of strange. Um, so what we will do is we will stop this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a breakpoint here right before setup screen, because I want to see if this executes, because this should execute when I actually click that arrow button. That's supposed to be the arrow button right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in, then I hit this arrow button, and then this should bring us to a breakpoint, right? So here we are. So now we're at this breakpoint, and what I can do is I can actually just step through this and see what's happening. So this, so right now you see this green line, this line that's highlighted. So that's where my debugger is at the moment. And what should happen is that it should go inside of here and do screen change. So I'm going to do this step over down here at the bottom, and it does, right? So here we go. So we could do state.set, then we call screen. Okay, so we can see what happens here, right? So what's happened is that this is in setup. It set the state to load. The screen changed. And now the state is going to be load, right? Because I've just changed the state. And what's happened now is now it's saying, hold on, I'm in load. I'm in load now. So that's what this means, is that we got the loading screen and it's going to go inside here, right? That's not what we want to happen. What we want to happen is that once this has changed the screen, we actually want to exit out of this function. So what I want to do is I actually want to do a return out of that screen after the screen has changed, or else it'll go into here and execute all of this. So that's one problem, right? So let's just try that. Make sure that that's fixed our error, right? So here we are. We're back here again. Hit log in, and now I hit this, and boom, this works, right? So that's all that happened there. So what happened was that I didn't hit return, and because I changed the state here, then it automatically went into here and said, "Hold on, you're in your loading screen now," and it executed all this, and it said a button's been hit, but it's not the load button, and that's why I got that JAssert false. So that's one really good lesson on why it's so good to have a debugger to use breakpoints and use debugging rather than just consoling out. That would have been a very difficult bug to have spotted if I didn't know how to set breakpoints. So another thing is that um, I noticed that this setup screen, as I said, this is going to be common to both my my creator app and my game app. So the question is, should I be having this in the main component? Because this is shared behavior between these two different types of apps, the game app and the creator app. So now I'm going to just look at my button clicked, and I'm just thinking, so does this have access to ScreenCreator? It does. My main class has access to ScreenCreator. And now I should be able to get to actually just take this and pull this out into my main app, my larger app. Okay. And another great tip is when you're using when you have references to something that's shared. So for example, like ScreenCreator is a shared is a class that I have different references to throughout the application. You don't want to call it ScreenCreator in one class and call it creator in another class and call it C in another class. Okay, try to keep your names consistent, because see, what I could do now is I could actually just take that, I could pull that out of one class, put it in another class, and I know that that should work. That should work fine. So now I'm going to actually go over to my game, into my loading screen in the game, and I'm actually going to make sure that I don't have the same function, this same thing in my game, in my game class, because if I do, then I just need to delete it. So let's go over to the game, into data, or actually into UI, load screen, loading screen. So this is my loading screen class for my game. Or actually, is that what I want? No, sorry. I want to go into the parent app here, into key pressed, not key pressed, button clicked. And as you can see here, I have the same block of code, right? So this is the reason why I've combined these two in the first place, because a lot of this stuff is shared. So all I want is I want all of that common behavior to be to be put in the main component rather than these two individual game components. So I can actually just get rid of that. So now I'm looking, and I have this settings button clicked, right? So we have this, where am I? Right here. So we have get top panel, get settings button. And I have a similar sort of thing here in my Scratch Creator, so I'm just going to get rid of some empty space there. So get settings button. Okay, so they need to do slightly different things. So now I'm just looking to see, do I want that to be in the main component, or do I want this, or is the behavior different enough where I want this to be individualized in Scratch Creator or Scratch Champion, right? So let's go into what I put down there for settings button clicked. So I know there's a way to look at these side by side, but so let's see. So I'm starting to think that maybe I'll have like settings button clicked functions in, and share those both in the main component. So I will show you what I mean here. So Scratch Champion here, I have just one function here called settings button clicked. In here, when my settings button is clicked, I have all of this business, right? So seems to make sense that some of it's individualized, some of it's kind of the same. So what I'm thinking is I want all of this in a function in this class called settings button clicked, right? So now I'm just going to make a function called settings button clicked. That need to put this in the header. I'll just put it right here, right below button clicked. So I will just call this settings button clicked. And then I will go back to my CPP, right below button clicked, and I will create void Scratch Creator settings clicked. And then I will just paste all of that business in there. So now we have that, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put this in my button clicked class when I'm actually detecting a button clicked. And then we have this common function called settings button clicked. But now I need to know if this is Scratch Creator or Scratch Champion, right? So here I could say so we can do this by app mode, right? So app mode, we could say something like app mode is creator. The only other thing that I'm thinking is, I want to check and make sure that I'm not trying to access a null pointer. So I thought I was going to be able to do an inline if statement here, but that's not going to be the case. So I can say here, if app mode is creator and Scratch Creator. Okay. Saying this is the same thing as Scratch Creator is not equal to null pointer. Like that. I like to just put that like that. So that's just making sure that Scratch Creator is not a null pointer. And then what I could do here is, I will say, Scratch Creator. Settings button clicked. Then else if, and then this is just app mode is game and Scratch Champion, which is our Scratch Champion object that holds all of our behavior. And we could say Scratch Champion settings button clicked. Like that. Okay, so then let's see here. So now, so in here, I'm just going to make a comment here. Oh, this is interesting, actually. Um, this brings up an interesting architecture question because I'm starting to think, hmm, we could do this for all of these. We could do this for all of these states. You know, not just not just this settings button. So, hmm, question is, yeah, I think that feels a little bit cleaner if I do it that way. Um, so this is interesting. Okay, so feels like I want to have all of that behavior right here. Um, so there's some other stuff here before I forget. So going back into Scratch Champion, into settings button clicked. So I'm in Scratch Champion, settings button clicked. So we have actually some stuff that is, so if we take this and then we look at both functions side by side, we see that there's some shared behavior here. For example, we see that the state setup, we're changing the state to setup, and we have screen changed. So following the principles of dry, which stands for do not repeat yourself, don't repeat yourself. I'm going to take that and I'm going to pull that into my main component. So we're going to be dry here, and we are going to do that. And so I'm going to get rid of that in this one too. So it's written in one place rather than two, right? This other stuff is individual. Um, so we got get top panel, get loop button, set toggle state. That's common. Feels like feels like the top panel should be common to both the so the top panel is common to both the Scratch Champion and Scratch Creator. It's just the behavior that's different. So I'm starting to think that maybe I should pull the top panel out into the main component because that's part of the main component. I think this was something that I was looking at before, but I changed my mind about doing that for some reason. So let's look at what else top panel is doing. So top panel is, let me just build this so you can actually see what I'm talking about. and it's building, and here we go. So logging in. So top panel is this thing right here, all of this. So all of this is actually shared between these two apps. So that feels like that should just be in my larger, in the bigger parent application. Let's see if we can pull that out. Um, so top panel. So this is in Scratch Creator, and I'm just having a look here at what I'm doing. Oh, a ScreenCreator. ScreenCreator actually owns the top panel. So this is good for us, right? Because if I set up another tab here, we see that ScreenCreator is common to both Scratch Champion and Scratch Creator. And here it is, our top panel. So now going in here, we see that in Scratch Creator and Scratch Champion, we have this ScreenCreator, get top panel, get loop button, set toggle state false, right? So that's once again common to both of these applications. Better to have it stated in one place rather than two. There we go. So that is pulled out of there. Look in here. And now I'm going to pull that out of there. Then we have this ScreenCreator, get top panel, get play button, set toggle state false. So that just takes the play button, make sure that it turns off. Once again, that's common to both of these. See how this cleans up really nicely? So there we go. So now I can eliminate that from that. And now we have something that is very, I'm not sure. Yeah, so looping the recorder was something that I was thinking about doing at some point. So I'm just going to keep that in there for now. But we see that these are actually common, right? Stop recording, reset, stop looping, stop, and reset. So it feels like this could even be abstracted out even more. But for now, I'm just going to kind of leave it like this. Um, so this is cool, right? This is okay. Feels like this could be cleaned up a little bit. Feels like a little bit jumbled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull this out into a parent method called settings button clicked, right? So settings button clicked. There's a rule of thumb that I heard from somebody, I can't remember who, that says that your methods, that when you have a method, if it's bigger than your screen, that is probably too long. Or another person, I heard somebody else say 25 lines should be about the length, the maximum length for a function. So here we are. We have void. I'm going to make this main component settings button clicked. Of course, I need to put this in the header file. I'm going to make this in private since I don't need it to be called Nothing else is calling into the main component, so I don't. Um, so I'm just going to put this in the private section. Void settings button clicked. That. Now let's look at this. Um, so I'm just going to clean this up right here. So I'm going to say auto panel equals screen creator hit top panel. I just find this a little bit easier to read like this. Oops, just need this here. I'm not I'm not a huge fan of those nested like really long chained nested function calls like that. So I find this is a little bit more readable. This feels a little bit jumbly. Feels a little bit a lot to read if you're just trying to browse through. So let's see. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do auto. Let's see. What should I call this? Auto mode equals um, sorry, I'm just thinking to myself here. Make this a reference since this needs to be a reference. I don't want to create a whole new scratch creator. Uh, is create so app mode is creator. Sorry, I'm getting all messed up here. App mode is creator and scratch creator and scratch creator. Else scratch champion. Then this could turn into there's a couple there are a couple concerns that I have about this approach. Ah, that's not going to work. Yeah, because they're not a common type. This goes back to the question about whether to inherit these. Okay, maybe I'll just put brackets around them like this. Yeah, still looks expected expression. So what have I done here? App mode is creator and scratch creator. So what have I missed something? Else if oh oh man. Okay, there we go. Um this bothers me. Like all of this doesn't feel, this feels messy. Um, hmm. There are a lot of arguments here to make to really make Scratch Champion and Scratch Creator inherit from a common class because there's a lot of stuff that's quite common here. I'm going to leave it like this for now because the main reason that I'm going to do it like that is because I'm going to do a JAssert false here to make sure that we don't run into a situation where something has gone awry and something's not right. So I'm just gonna leave that like that for now. But I might come back and clean this up a bit more in a bit. So okay, so the settings button clicked is taken care of now, and now so then came the question of okay, do we? So we can see here in Scratch Champion. So now I can get rid of this. That's gone. Creator and going up to here, settings button clicked. So now let's look at loading. Let's look at the loading situation here. So so you have this play, get the play button, end screen, which is a mess right now. Then looking at the Scratch Champion side, yeah, so this feels like this could get cleaned up and just like abstracted out once again. So let's have a look here. So we have this one that's in loading screen. So I could do that check inside of here. So so it feels like, yeah, so now we have this loading screen here. This needs to do some different stuff, individual stuff that's specific to Scratch Champion. So that feels like that could be pulled into some type of common name. So let's see. So we have if loading screen. So this is in Scratch Champion. For if button get thumbnail. So that switches to state. So that's like a load. So get thumbnail is really load. That's not a very good name for that. So let me just jump into that for a second. Return thumbnail button. And what's thumbnail button? And then thumbnail button. So let's just have a look at what thumbnail button actually does. Thumbnail button. got set color, we got the image. So this is actually like a load. So I think thumbnail button is actually a bad name for this. So I'm going to call this load button. Maybe I'll just call it load button, load thumbnail. I'm going to call it load button. Uh, yeah, because it's saying it's because the object type is thumbnail button, and the action it's doing is loading. So I'm going to do get turn load button. Then I'm going to replace all of these. Oh, I didn't realize that you could do a highlight, and then when you do Finder, it actually automatically places it there. Interesting. Load button. So we're going to do these individually. So replace. There may be another. There may be some other places where I might need to fix that. So now I'm going to go back to the place where that was called. So this is get load button because that feels like that's a much better name than get thumbnail. Oops, did I not call it the right name? Oh, now I'm I need to go back into this class again. Sorry if I'm confusing you. So, oh, sorry, I forgot to capitalize this. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we're fine. So that tells it what it's actually doing. It's actually loading. It's actually loading the lesson. It's not um, just getting the thumbnail. So the reason I did that is because I wanted those two names to be the same. Get load button. Um, so okay. So now just want to make sure that behavior was the same. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out once again. So this is going to become a function that's going to be load button clicked. Yeah. So we're taking all of this and we're actually making common behavior here. So here we go. So void scratch champion load button clicked. I feel like this is making a move in the right direction here. So because we're taking these things and we're abstracting them out to common behavior. So void load button clicked. I'm going to do the same thing for Scratch Creator, which is that I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull it out to some function call, void Scratch Creator, load button clicked. I put all that business in there. So I'm going to put this jassert false in there because that actually helped us a little bit earlier. Because that's the only button that the only thing is that I need to get the button, which is not a problem. I just need to pass that in as an argument here. So here we go. That's a little bit different. And I just need to bring this over here. Load button clicked. See that I've got some errors that are happening here. So just going back. Do I have all my... Oh, this needs to go in here. Sorry. Oh, so now we should be all good. So I just need to do the same thing here. Oh, juice. Button. Go into ScreenCreator. So void load button clicked. That business in there. And now I think we are. So now once again, we are going to pull that out. So going back to the main component, back up to button clicked. So we got login screen, setup screen, and now load screen. So if auto load screen, I don't even need to do that. If see here. So I'm seeing a couple things that I could probably do better. So and what I need a app mode. Sorry, this is state is loading. Load button clicked. Now I just need to make a function called load button clicked. I will put that right here. Void main component. Load button clicked. This will take an argument of juice. Button pointer button. And then once again, we see that we're getting a some common themes here where I'm doing a lot of this if app mode is creator and scratch creator, if app mode is game and scratch champion, then do this. It feels like there's a good case. There's a good case for a good cleanup here, a good abstraction that will abstract this behavior out. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it first like this. So, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to sweep over it again, and I will do a another sweep where I'm where I clean it up, where I abstract it out once more. So So my advice would be don't try to do it all in one go because what happens is you end up just trying to do too much in one thing. So once again, I'm going to go back to load button clicked here, and I'm just going to take a look here, see if we can see if we can abstract some more things out here. Scratch creator. Let's go to load button clicked. Set up play screen. Yeah, so we can see, yeah, so you can see here there's a lot of similar behavior. Pull data from UI, pull data, state.set, uh, set up play screen, screen creator. Um, yeah, just gonna leave it as is for now. I don't wanna mess with it too much. But once again, this is a good case for maybe looking to have some type of abstraction where because this is a lot of shared behavior or a lot of similar calls here. So the idea would be to make all of these the same name and then somehow abstract that out to some type of parent class or and make um, and make those inherit individually, something like that. So okay, so going back here, going back to main component. So let's keep moving with this. So I'm just going to build this, make sure this actually builds successfully. See how this goes. How's everybody doing out there? Everybody having a good time? Oh, so what have we done here? So get oh this is because I've changed the get thumbnail to get load button. So gotta change that in all of these places. There we go. Get thumbnail, get load button. This is probably not my not my best code. I think that's fine. Load button clicked. So now we're just going to build this again, see if this actually works. Okay, so now we have build succeeded. We just want to make sure this actually works as designed. So we got login, setup, and load. There we go. So now let's go back to button clicked again. Da da da. Where am I? So this is login button clicked. Almost feels like I need to, there's, let's see. So just going to pull this into login button clicked. Just see an opportunity here to, this will just clean us up quite a bit. So load button clicked, and I'm going to do void component login button clicked. Not button. So now I just need to pull this out to my header file here. I'm going to do this for setup, select lesson button. I need to take a button. Yep. We can see here how this is making this much, much more readable, isn't it? Especially when I do that. So see how that just cleans that up nicely. So we got login button clicked. So what have I done here? Oh, it needs some more information here. So, okay. Um, well, yeah, 1 second here. Main component, select lesson. Clicked. Ah, come on. Gosh. Yeah, there's something that I just noticed actually, which is probably no reason for me to even have the ifs in there. So for example, like this isn't probably important for me to know, is it? I could just do this, right? This will really make it look nice. So login button clicked. So the reason I did that is because it didn't know what there we go. So same thing here. Doesn't know what setup screen is. Setup screen is something that came from here originally. So I can actually just pull this here. Now I don't even need to make a comment. It's so clear what is happening. So see what's happening here, how this is slowly cleaning up, but it's not really all happening in one go. It's going kind of in waves. It's kind of like a painting. I always compare these things to a painting. Like when you're I would imagine that if um if when most artists that I've seen do paintings, second load button clicked. Um when they do a painting, they don't just paint the eye at full resolution, do they? Before starting on anything else, before starting on a lot of artists that I've seen, they'll they'll kind of do a sketch, won't they? They'll do like a little sketch of what they think that they're doing, and then parts get erased, parts get refactored, and that's kind of how I think this is here in coding as well. Well, at least that's been my experience, which has been that these things they go in waves. You do one cleanup, then you come back and you look at it and you say, "Oh, well, this will look better over here," and then you do another round of cleaning up. I find that to be very helpful. And we can see here how this is how this is working. So see here how it doesn't. it's not really important for me to have if screen creator get top panel get settings button, like that does not need to be there, right? It's just better just to have it within this function call. Settings button clicked. Where is it? Settings button clicked. So now I could just have all this here. Then take all of this. Put it inside there like that. And this needs to know the juice button. That's nice because that was actually bothering me before that all the other ones were passing in juice button as an argument and not that one. So here we go. So now going back to button clicked. So so this is cleaning up nicely, and I can put in button as an argument now. And then let's go back to Scratch Champion, Scratch Creator, pull some more of these out. So so we see that there's quite a bit here, right? So we got end screen, we got end screen load game button. All of that could be encapsulated um, in a function call. So let's see here. Stop button clicked, play button clicked, loop button clicked. So let's see. Just thinking here. So we got stop button. So let's just do these individually. So where am I here? So I need to go back up here. So we got stop button that's clicked here. I'm just thinking to myself, that's all. Um, so we got screen creator get play screen. I don't think that I've gotten this far on my app yet. So I'm actually just I'm gonna leave that there for now. Because I haven't actually worked out everything individually for these yet. So um, I don't want to start pulling stuff around, or do I? So we got if state is playing, if recorder is in recording state. So much of this that I could refactor, and I could probably just do this forever. So we got screen creator get play screen, and here we got if state is playing. Play screen. See, the problem here is that from what I'm seeing, play screen is never actually used within this. So this is actually like not. I mean, there's a part of me that actually feels like the stop button wouldn't actually be visible. The stop button couldn't actually be clicked unless the user was in a play state. So it almost feels like this is just obfuscated, like it's not even necessary at all. So I'm actually going to get rid of that there. That just feels like, oh, wait, hold on, sorry. Is there anywhere where this is actually used? Play screen. So you see that play screen is actually not even used. Like in this long nested if, play screen isn't actually even used. So I don't even need that. Don't even need all of that. Just needs to know if that's the button that's been clicked. So I'm actually just going to take that, move that back like that. This, I guess you got to uncomment it, then move it back, and then comment it out again. There we go. So once again, this is common to both Scratch Champion and Scratch Creator. Does it care that the state is in the playing state? Because stop button can't even be stopped. Can't even be clicked if it's not. So I feel like that is not even necessary, is it? Feels like it's unnecessarily making that complicated for no reason. Okay, now let's deal with this. So this is common. Screen Creator, you get the stop button, right? So that's common to both Scratch Creator and Scratch Champion. So now, but it's the behavior in here that's individualized once again, but probably like some of this is, um, yeah. So that's cool. So I'm going to say stop button clicked here. Pull this out. Stop button clicked. Set up. Oh, sorry, I'm going to put it above here. Void Scratch Creator. Stop button clicked. Button. Oh, what I do here? So where does this need to be pulled? Sorry, I'm getting a bit mixed up here. So login button clicked. Yeah, some of this is unnecessary, actually. Do I need to know that it's in the? Yeah, I'm starting to have some doubts about the complexity of my code here. Um, but I'm gonna come back to that very shortly. I don't want to think about too much at once here. So I'm gonna pull this out into like a stop button clicked. I could actually maybe comment here. So play screen, stop button clicked. Then in here, login, select, load, settings, and then void main component, stop button click. That. So in here, once again, I need to have this in here. So this is starting to feel like maybe I need to pass in something as an argument. But for now, I'll just I'll just do this. But there's definitely something here that I need to refactor. I can refactor out in a bit. So scratch creator, stop button clicked. So I'm just jumping around a little bit. So we got void stop button clicked. I need to do the same thing here. So once again, that's taken care of outside. Settings button, load button, and then clicked. There we go. Then I just need to pull that here. So we can see here that Scratch Creator and Scratch Champion have a lot of shared functions that are pretty similar, actually, pretty much the same. So yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I really feel like this is something positive that's happening here. So here we go, void that. Just making sure that this actually, so we got failed, so stop button clicked. So I don't need this anymore. Again. There we go. Build succeeded. Cool. All right, that's good. So next one. So isn't refactoring fun? I enjoy this actually. I'm not sure if you're enjoying this out there, if you find this to be a little bit a little bit dry, but I find it to be actually quite satisfying. So yeah, so let's go back to main component for a second because I saw something else that I thought was was interesting. So we got settings button, so setup screen. I was just looking just to see if I have anything that is unnecessary. I mean, all of this is a bit, like I have these here, and I think that they're checking if it's checking what mode it is and which object that I have allocated feels like it could be done um, in a better way. So I got login. So this is like top panel. So we got load. So I just want to. So I got login button clicked. Login. I mean, I guess that's. I don't know if that's really necessary to say that, but load button clicked is set up. Is loading. That's top panel. So now we need the play button, loop button, and all of that as well. So here we go. So now coming back here. And just straightening up some of this code here. Nothing like clean code, is there? I don't think there is. So now we got play button clicked. Let's just pull this out. I love these dividers. I find that they make things easier to read, easier to just divide up. So now I'm going to make a play button clicked method. So void, copy all this, change this to play. Of course, I need to do that here. I guess I should have done this from the start. Just taking that, put that here. Here. Then go back here. Stop button, and I'm going to put that. Then I'm going to move all this Where's button clicked? Going to move that into here. Going to move this out into the parent class. And we need all this business for now that I will promise to refactor later. Then what else? Then we need ScreenCreator, that play button clicked stuff. So I could just do that here. Oh, did I not create a play button clicked yet? Let me just paste this here for now. Here. Play. And then go back to the main one. Just need to change these to play now. There we go. Okay. Now I think we're good there for play button. So now we need to do loop button. So once again, we got copy this here, get rid of all this, loop, here, wait. Then copy this over to here. This is here. Just scratch creator. Grab the behavior specific to this class. So now I can just get rid of all this stuff. We're getting there. We are nearly there. So at the moment, this is going to just be this. We don't actually even have any set behavior for this at the moment. Wait. So now I'm just going to take this, copy this here. Did I miss copying something over? Let's go back up here. Ah, I didn't, glad I didn't delete that. So Let's see. So I need that. Keep going. This needs to be main component. Then pull this out. Yeah, I know I've said this a couple times already, but I'm going to actually refactor this when the time comes. So yeah, there's going to be, looks like I'm going to need to make a shared class between Scratch Creator and Scratch Champion in order for me to refactor this the way that I want to do it. So now we just make sure we got loop button clicked actually up in here. So did I put play button clicked? Play button clicked. Then void clicked. There we go. Okay. That'll fix itself here. Just make sure that this is actually compiling properly. All this actually feels like it could be moved, should be moved somewhere, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. Okay, so that's all working nicely. Yeah, great. Oh, that was loud. Okay, so what else? What else? So let's go back. This is a little bit, it's getting a little bit long, but I think it's good to finish this off before I don't want to just half do it. So we got speaker button clicked. So that's one that mutes and unmutes tracks. Got loop button, void main component. Clicked. Go. There are nice braces in here. Let's see. Let's do this. I'm going through different methods of doing this. This is my next tactic, which is doing all the CPPs. This feels like a promising way to do it, actually. Creator. Then go back and do the headers like this. Yeah, I like that. I like that technique. I would go back and grab the individual behavior. Which would be this. Then I would grab this, move it into main component. Then I need to do this thing. Yeah, definitely need to fix that. The time comes. Don't want that. Oh. So I've taken care of that. That just leaves the end screen, which is going to be a little bit different. Maybe. So do we have a speaker button? Great. So I will just put this in there for now. Okay, so we got a replay button and a load game. Replay and load game button. Great, that feels sensible. Um, mm, replay game button. So, okay, so once again, let's go back to our main component. Let's do play loop speaker button clicked. Make another function called main component. Replay clicked. Okay, so I like this tactic before of copying all the CPPs first. Actually, I could do both of these at the same time. Right, so I'm going to call this end game load button clicked just to separate it from our other load button clicked. So just differentiate those. So I'm going to take these, going to copy them, scratch champion. What I should have done in hindsight is just done all the CPPs in one go, and then all the headers in one go, made all the functions. But oh well, here we are. Oh, let's do this. Creator. Creator. And then replay button clicked. here. Of course, nothing's going to happen. Everything's commented out at the moment, but we will come back to this at a later point. Fine. And I just need to take this end screen behavior, cut that. And then my favorite part, I can just take this whole button clicked and I can actually just get rid of that. That is gone. Main component. Do I have to repeat this twice? I believe so. There we go. Oh, hey, what's up? How's it going, Lala Zub? So I hope I'm not I hope this is insightful for people. So I'm going to set up the header files now. Void. This isn't the most fun one, but I think it's quite useful for people to see how this code gets refactored over time. So now we're going back to the header file. Got this. Got that. Great. Then we just need to put in our behavior. So actually, let me 1 second. Button clicked. I can get rid of that now, I think. Oh, just need to copy this stuff in here. Just making sure I've got this right. That it follows all of the rules of want to make sure that this is all consistent here. 1 second here. Yep, so that's fine. So I'll just do this, replay button clicked. Load game button clicked. Get replay game button. Just want to make sure these function calls are exactly the same. Okay, I'll make sure they're exactly the same. Um, I hope I'm doing this right. If not, I'll just come back and I'll do it differently. needs to return out of the hole. I'm sensing danger here, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, and I feel confident that this will work itself out. Sensing some potential problems. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, that's the problem. Okay. So how's it going, everybody? Um, just thinking for a second. How did I handle this here? So this is a little bit different. Let me go back here. Hmm. Oh, okay, cool. So that's how I did it. It was top panel was common to both the creator and the champion. Hey, Florian. No, this it's not a pointer problem. It's actually just a logic. It's just a logic. It's more of a logic issue. End screen is end screen. There are two different end screens. So yeah, this is interesting. This is something I never actually thought of before, which is that the play screen that you have two separate play screens, but the play screens that the only parts that are actually I'll worry about the end screen later. I'll come back to that. But the interesting part is that in the play screen, the um, the only parts that are actually clickable on the UI are actually common to both apps. So some people are asking to see the actual app. So let's see here. So got some errors. Yeah, so I don't actually even need these anymore. So go. Well, let me put this, let me make sure I put all these other function calls in here. So we got settings button, we got stop, play, loop, speaker, replay, and end, which I'm not going to worry about for now. I'll come back to that. Replay, end, and speaker. Just 1 second. So we got speaker button clicked. Yeah, there are some refinements to this, but I'll come back to those. Then we got end screen, play button clicked, and load in game load button clicked. So here we go. Build failed. So button clicked. Oh, just need to get rid of this. Don't need that anymore. That's quite nice, actually, getting rid of that. Um, so let's play this again. Cool, build succeeded. Get my little braces in here. I love these. Okay, so there it is. There's the app. It's got a login screen. Got a hardware setup screen where you can switch between left and right turntables. And this is in the game, so there are two different modes. There's a creator mode and there's a playing mode. And then now we have where you can load a lesson. So these are like album art. Doesn't look very much like album art at the moment. I'm gonna fix that. Choose a lesson. Now we're on the play screen. Now I hit this. You can't hear any sound because the sound's actually coming from the hardware mixer. Yeah, I don't have my own turntable hooked up at the moment, but yeah, now you can see the playing, and then it will come to an end screen where it shows your score. Then you can play again or load another lesson, even though I haven't figured that out yet. So yeah, that's it. That's it right there. So okay, so now here's the thing, right? Well, there are a couple things. This Scratch Champion. So I have this game app, and then there's this creator app that I actually need to do a lot of work on. So if I go here to my app mode, change this to creator. We'll see that once again, you come to a login screen, same as before. Setup screen, same as before. Now you come to this screen, which is like an actual creator application. So I need to work on this. You can see that the color of this isn't quite right. This is kind of, this looks terrible. So yeah, need to do a bunch of stuff to that. So that's kind of where things are at the moment. So let me just change this back to game. And um, so here's the thing. So I have these two different modes: Scratch Creator, Scratch Champion, and they're nearly like the function calls are nearly the same. So and I'm having a situation where I'm in my main component and I'm needing to do a lot of stuff like this. If app mode is creator and scratch creator, if app mode is game and scratch champion. So just to keep needing to do that over and over again. Um, and I'm feeling like maybe I need to make a parent class of creator and champion that encapsulates all of this behavior of what um, what both of these classes are doing. So what's the benefit? So if I do that, so let's ask a question here to the audience and to myself. What's the benefit of doing that? Why do I want to do that? Why do I want to create a parent class of this class that has this shared behavior? How would that save me from doing this? That's the reason why I want to do it. And the question is, what would I be writing here instead? So I'd be doing something like auto and game equals. But then once again, I feel like it needs to be like a dynamic a dynamic cast. Um, so how would I do this? So I'm just thinking of. So I would say like if app mode I could say something like auto game auto and game equals app mode is creator, and I'd say scratch creator scratch. Do I even need to do that though? So let's see. Taking that even further out. Can I do that already? No. Yeah, so these aren't the same type, the same inherited type. I'm just thinking here to myself. Because even the creation of this object is even the same. takes the same arguments and everything. So it feels like there needs to be, yeah. I'm starting to get a sense of why the benefit of making a parent class that shares the behavior. Um, so then what happens is that you could say if the app mode is game, create this object. It'd be like a generic. Hmm. Yeah. You don't even need to do that, right? Because you just say, so this would become like a scratch game. So stood unique pointer scratch game. And then depending on the type, you would create it as a scratch champion or a scratch creator. And because it's a scratch game, it will work. And then you could just call those function calls. You don't even need to check. You don't even need to check. Now that I think about it, you don't even need to check on the state of if it's the game or the creator, because it's just the only thing that needs to be the only thing that needs to the only time it needs to be checked is when there's something specific to champion or creator that's not in the other class. So yeah, I'm starting to see the benefit of making a parent class. So let's see here. Um, I'm gonna make a new class. I'm gonna probably start this and not finish it because I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. But let's create. Do I want a CPP and a header or just a header file? I'm gonna make this just a header file for now. And I'm gonna call it, um, what should we call it? Scratch game, scratch champion, scratch creator. I will call it, I'll just call it scratch game. Scratch game. Scratch champion and scratch creator types of scratch games. So scratch game. I think this will be a nice exercise here for all of us, include myself included. So scratch game. And this will be like a parent class for scratch champion. Let's see, shared behavior of scratch creator and scratch. So we'll create a class. It'll be called scratch game. So I'll have some public, private, Oh, this is gonna be fun. I think this is gonna be fun. So the first thing is that this will be, so now I can go to this header class, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to include a dot scratch game. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then I'm going to say class scratch champion public scratch game. So, okay, and then we just go to the creator, do the same thing, include scratch game, public scratch game. I don't know if it'll compile at the moment. I'm curious to see. Yeah, so that's fine. So now we're saying scratch that both of these are a scratch game. Okay. So now I'm going to start making this class. So we got scratch game. Since both of these classes take exactly the same type of constructor, then I could put that there like that. Oh, what else? What else are we going to do here? So this is gonna be interesting exercise here. So now we're going to look, and we're going to look at both of these and say, what is the shared behavior? They both have prepare to play, right? So now I will say virtual void prepare. I'll just copy this. Actually, I'm just going to copy a couple of these. So virtual audio block. We want to make sure that the user, if they actually use this class, um, that they actually do their own implementation. So this is where we're going to start with this. We're going to do so. So one thing that, okay, so I've gotten to here so far. This is going to be override. It's going to be override. Let's look at change listener callback for a second here. I want to see what's actually happening in there. Yeah, that's absolutely different. Yep. So I need to look at change listener callback here. Do I have a change listener callback? Okay, so what happens here? Yep, so those are absolutely different. So but they share a common function call. So got change listener callback. What else? Key pressed. Interesting. Let's check. So now we've done that. Virtual functions, but a non-virtual destructor. So do I just do this? Let's see if that works. So key pressed. Hmm. Let's go back here to Scratch Creator, key pressed. So once again, these are the same. Okay, so this feels like this could be like a space bar pressed. I'll just leave it as key pressed. Well, thing is that this is all the same, right? Man, these two are just so similar. Just trying to get the individual behavior. Game state is ready. Yep. So I'm gonna just pull this out to main component. Sorry, I'm going on a side mission for a second. This should actually be called something more like space bar. Don't really need to know what the original component. Space bar with a capital B goes like that for now. Change this. Oop, didn't mean to do that. I will change this. So I don't need to know what the originating component is. Space bar pressed. Then I will keep see, just thinking here. Oh, of is just thinking about three things at once. And I will pull this. So spacebar pressed will turn into, or key press will turn into spacebar press, like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing for Scratch Creator. That. This needs to be, I'm going to change this spacebar. I'm bouncing between, I know I'm bouncing between about 3 different classes right now. I just wanted to make sure I did this before, while I was thinking about it. This should actually have a lock here. I don't actually even need to know that the game state is ready. How did I do that here? Sorry. Oh, so this is a bowl. There we go. Now we are getting somewhere. Okay, then Scratch Creator. Then correct that here. Question, is it possible to use Juice for audio and SFML for graphics instead of going full Juice? The answer is I don't know. I don't know what SFML is. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think something like that. I've heard of situations like that 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 it is things like that are possible, but they're quite tricky to do. using Juice just for the audio, and then using another graphics engine. Um, but I've heard of people doing that before. So okay, so now going back here. So um, space bar game. Let's call this game state ready rather than game state is ready. Game state ready. Okay, cool. So that's fine for now, but I'm gonna come back and change all this a little bit later. So now let's go to back to scratch game, and we want to make this, since once again we have this function call. Sorry, not that. This spacebar pressed. We want to make that a pure virtual function. Hmm. Has virtual functions, but a non-virtual destructor. What does that mean? Has virtual non-virtual destructor. I forget. I've done this before, but I forget what that means. So it will be used as a base class. The use of non-virtual destructors in base classes is dangerous because it can cause objects to be torn down incorrectly. Yeah, it makes sense because the derived class is going to be different in each in in each instance. So this actually should not be there. This should maybe be here. Scratch. That's why scratch. So I think that's what I need to do. Then game. Hmm. Okay, so I'll come I'll come back to, oh, that works. Scratch champion has virtual functions, but a non-virtual destructor. So now I'm getting that error here. Maybe I should actually read the whole thing of what I was just reading, huh? Rather than just assuming what. Okay, so badge should be virtual. Okay, so what's that? So class evil. So class victim inherits evil. Okay, that's what I was just doing though. Made made a destructor. Class with non-trivial destructor. Hmm. Marking a destructor as protected makes it almost impossible to delete instances of that class. A good choice is public virtual or protected virtual. So virtual destructor. So not sure. So what should it be like this? Hold on. Right? Oh, I guess it is. I guess it just needs virtual like that. Now I got that back here. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that for now. I'll come back to it. I'll don't want to get away from my from my main mission here, which is to get all of the common behavior into this one class. We got spacebar pressed. Good now, so that's override. Set up play screen. So now, sorry, I'm gonna get rid of you. Right. Right. Button clicked should no longer be there. So let's see. What's going on here? Why is this not folding up properly? Oh my, it's that. So let's go back here. So setup play screen is what I was looking for here. Override. Override. So the reason that I'm doing this for people who may just be starting out is because I have these two classes that are quite similar that, oh, I need to include juice in here, I think. I have these two classes that have this shared behavior, and I want to be able to to not have to check which class it is in order to be able to call it. So that's why I'm doing this. So now going back here. So now we got settings button, click override. Let me just load. So these are all the functions that we just created just a minute ago. I'm just going to put all these in here. This to all of them. All virtual. Okay. So now I need to go back in here. I need to do override to all of these. Okay, just having a look here at all the common stuff between these two classes. Okay. So then, no, let me go back here. So can I do this? Oh, man. Gotta just gonna have a look at something here really quick. I always forget how to. Sorry that I forget how to implement these off the top of my head. So I wanted to look in juice component class. So because this is another one that just looking at a juice. Whenever you get lost, it's good. It's a good idea to look at the way that they wrote it in juice. Oh, this is what I need. See, told you. Virtual scratch. That's how it works. Then let's see here. So I want to go to private. Yeah. So is that of the yeah, because whenever we construct a scratch game, so I'm going to need to make a CPP of this. So let's do this. New CPP file. Oop, putting it in the wrong place though. Cancel. Oh no. Thought it was going to crash on me for a second. So new CPP file. Scratch game. I'll just move that down here. There we go. Because I want to do this now. Oh, why is it being slow? I think this is my computer telling me that it's nearly time for lunch. Game. Okay. Now I want to do this. I want to go into I need to include ScreenCreator.h. Because I want to take all this, since this is common to Scratch, Scratch Champion and Scratch Creator. I think I could just do this, which is take all of this. Hell, I hope this is going to work. I think what I could do is I'm going to be doing a lot of undoing if this doesn't, if I didn't remember this properly. I can now take all this. Oh no, I can't. We're going to need this throughout the class. Never mind about that. Just thinking myself here. Base class, passing arguments in. Oh no, I can do that because I can actually call it from a derived class. Yes, that's right. I remember this now. So what I could do to actually clean this crap up is I could actually do this. I remember this right. Virtual spacebar as. Oh, what have I done here? See, this is what happens when I. One thing at a time, Josh. Come on, man. I want to take this. I want to put this here. Now I take this because all of my derived classes, I'm going to be able to get the data from the base class. So I can put this all here. Then I could take all of this and I could do boom and boom and boom, like that. Manager. This should be just manager like this. Now the key is to make sure this actually works. Okay, so that should be cool now. Wow, that is just clean that up like mad. Use component setup play screen. Virtual. So this feels, so how are we doing now? We're either going to get a whole bunch of errors. Oh, how is it like this? Isn't it something like this? Is that right? Oh, how did I do that? Oh, I've done this before, but I can't remember how to. Freaking. Um, base class constructor argument C plus plus. That's it. Yeah, I did that. String name. Okay. That's just passing in the arguments, but that's not quite what I'm looking for. Okay. So here we go. Do I need to return? So this does this mean that I need to derived cost? Okay. Yeah, that's right. Oh, this isn't quite right. I wanted something like this is to such a base class. Let's see. So what are we doing here? So I have a base class, scratch game. This has a whole bunch of stuff that are references that are common to any derived class. So should these be protected? Constructor for Scratch chat must explicitly initialize the base class Scratch game, which does not have a default constructor. Yeah. Uh, Thing is, you need to pass when you create an object of a derived class, it needs to pass you need to pass those arguments in, or else it doesn't know what the hell it's doing. You need that, which means I don't really need it in the base class because I'm not actually doing anything with it in the base class, right? Right. It's like it doesn't need all of that as far as I can see. So in actuality, this I probably don't need the CPP, but I'll just leave it here for now. Then, okay. So we have all of these. So there we go. Okay, so we should be fine. So now we've got, oh, that's right. So I need to put these back here now. Should be here, actually. Okay. Okay, cool. So I need to go back to overrides for all of these. The screen created there. Not sure why I had it way down there. Let's reset temp buffer is probably another one. Do I have that in Scratch? So that's in Scratch Creator. I want that in Scratch Champion. Yes. Even though, yeah, I might I might go and change that later. That's a different story. Okay. Oh, I got button clicked in there still. What's that? Cannot combine with previous void declaration specifier. Oh, back there. Oh, so this I must have. We are getting there. Spacebar pressed. What do you mean? That's spacebar pressed. Why is that doing that? Oh, this is there. Okay. Yep, that's what I meant. Ah, da 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 da. Build succeeded. Woo! Loving it. There we go. Cool. All good. All good there. All right. Now, why did I do all that? So, so now it's time to hopefully do what I wanted to do there. So, which would be this stood unique pointer. Oh, do I need to include scratch game up here? Include scratch. There we go. So I feel like there's going to be a wrinkle here that I haven't thought of. So game. So now I can get rid of these. This is, I doubt I could do this, but I'm going to try it anyway. See if I can do this. I seriously doubt this. App mode is game. This would be, yeah, I was about to say. Or can I do this? Auto, auto mode, auto game, app mode is game. Yeah, you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to do this. I already know. It's not complaining just yet. Yeah, I was about to say. No, it's not. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Uh, but I can do this. Scratch game. And then, let's see here. Scratch. Now I should be able to do stuff like this. Just so this is what I had before. If app mode is game and scratch champion, if app mode is creator and scratch creator. Now, fingers crossed, I should be able to just do this. If scratch game, scratch game. Same thing here. It's audio block. In other words, it doesn't, you don't have to do all of these, all of this state checking. But so, I mean, dang, that is freaking awesome, isn't it? That is, that has made my day right there. That has actually made my day. Getting rid of all that crap. I just need to return this here. Yep. How's it going? I'm just getting rid of code like it's no one's business. And it's pretty darn awesome. All of that weird state checking and things like that doesn't even need to happen anymore. It's like this. I just go that. Don't even need to check if the state is loading. Actually, need to do that. And I just put in that. Nice. That's awesome to hear. Lunch Party says that you've had a great past week. Whole bunch of refactoring. Isn't that awesome when that happens that way? Like I actually this is actually a pretty big discovery for me this lesson here. So now I go like this, just take this, put it there, get rid of all this. I could actually keep the else j. Let's keep this. I'll keep this around just in case something weird has happened. And yeah, that is freaking sweet. Look at this. All of this business. I could just go boom. And then all of that. Nothing quite like getting rid of code. I keep doing that. Okay. Got this baby here. Yeah, this is coming together pretty sick, actually. I'm pretty proud of myself that I actually have this is actually this. Yeah, this was absolutely worth the trouble that I went through to create a base class around that. That was just one more of these, and we're good to go. And I'm just going to add this JAssert false to any of the other places where I've used scratch game. Scratch game. Don't need to worry about it there. Just going to add it to these other places just to make sure that I don't think I need it there, actually. Or else it'll just ping on me every time I hit a key. what I want there. Starting to, wonder if I should use jassert false there or if I should use jassert scratch game. I don't know. I don't know if I need to actually do either one of those actually. Change listener callback, probably not. Yeah, not necessary. It's these ones where the login button is clicked, but something's gone awry. That's where the jassert false needs to happen. Nice. I'm just going to make sure this actually compiles properly. It'd be a shame if I actually build succeeded. Log in. Okay, that looks cool. Test it. Now I'm going to hit play. Of course, you can't hear anything because the sound's coming through my mixer. Promise I'll test this out publicly once at some point or another. Let's see if I hit the stop button. Cool. I mean, there's stuff there like this needs to erase and this state probably needs to go back to the beginning, things like that. But yeah. Oh, nice. Actually loaded the settings again. Fine. Cool. That that feels pretty. I'm pretty proud of what happened there today. That feels pretty awesome. Um, yeah, nice. That main component is cool. Under 350 lines of code. So everything is pretty concise. Nice. I'm satisfied with that. I am I am highly satisfied with that. Yeah, a lot of oh, a lot of work that needs to be done there, but yeah, that's weird. Oh, Siri's turned on for some weird reason. Cool. So I'm gonna grab some lunch. Everybody who's been watching, thank you very much. We clocked in a nice 3.5 hour live stream. Woo! Hope you learned something. I hope everybody's having a great day out there, and I'm gonna grab something to eat. I will speak to you all soon.